Hello, everyone. I'd like to thank you for watching. We're in the main menu for Pure Chess. We're going to go to Chess Challenges, top right-hand corner of the screen, bonus games, and we're tackling the set Mate and 5. And today we're going to handle problem number 15. Now, as always, if you'd like, you can take a minute to hit pause on the screen and give yourself some time to get situated. Okay, this one is a tricky one. Our main goal here is to get mate in 5. The question is, how do we do it? How do we do it? And there's a lot of pieces here. We're gonna try to analyze them. Black has his bishop on b1. In a lot of different variations of this, the bishop usually stays there, but sometimes it likes to crash and hit this piece on e4, depending on how you play it. They've got black has two rooks, a rook on a8 and a rook on h8, which makes some of the back row mates challenging to get, and also to boot. It's got this queen that's not greatly positioned on g6, but the queen can move to e8 in certain situations, or the f7 square, which makes it kind of tricky. It also has this knight on g7. This knight on g7 can't go to e6 because it's blocked by the pawn, but if we were to take a major piece 2, 3, 4 moves down the line, let's say a queen, we can't do that because the knight's just going to take it. Now we could remove this knight a decent percentage of time by playing, let's see, the pawn g4 takes this h5 pawn, and a lot of the times the knight or the rook will come and get it. But once again, we've got only 5 moves to solve this problem, so that's not going to work as a variation to the solution here. So there's a lot of different plays we have. Let's take a look at what we have to start off. We got this rook on h2, and it's not really doing anything. And the other thing, it's a mate in 5 problem. It's going to take 1, 2, 3 moves to get into position here. So that's not going to be part of our solution to the problem. So pretty much we're down to 3 other major pieces here. Let's look at the queen. We have a queen on e3. A lot of different options there. It'll be a big part of how we handle this. We have a bishop here on c3. Again, another big part of how we'll handle this if we can utilize it correctly. And of course, we have a rook. Rook's got decent position on b7, but it's got this pawn blocking it. We'd like to open it up more if we can. Once again, like I said, we've got this d5 pawn guarding the c6 and the e6 squares. So yeah, we've got a lot of different pieces in place. The question is, how do we get them to work together? What we'd like to not have, let's take a look at the king's flight squares to start off. Let's see, this queen right here is blocking the c5. Remember, we got c6 and e6 blocked. So the only 2 that are open for the king right now are the e7 and d7 flight squares. Okay. We've got a rook that we could potentially cover that with. So maybe we want to keep it rook right where it is, but we'd like to get rid of this pawn here. So, but we also want to reduce the king's flight squares on the back end, because if the king can get back into here, remember earlier we got the queen on, or black has the queen on g6, black has a knight on g7. There's a lot of different ways black can get out of this, and we don't solve the problem. So the most direct move I see here is bishop to b4 check. Because that blocks a lot of squares. If you look at this bishop right here, it blocks all of these squares right here. Now, our next move is simply going to be, we're going to play the queen to b6. And we don't have to worry about this pawn. There's a pawn on c7. We want to remove that pawn, and we don't have to worry about the pawn taking our queen, because that would create a discovered check on black's king, so black can't do that. So we're going to play queen to b6, again trying to put the pressure and reduce the amount of flight squares that black has. Okay, this next move is trickier. Let's see. What we'd like to do is get rid of this pawn, so we're going to play queen takes c7, to which black brings the queen, its own queen, out to block, which is really good for us because now we've got it out to mate and 2. The nice thing is there's only one defender of the queen, that's the king, and we've got a defender ourselves. This very important rook on b7, so we're just going to play queen takes queen check. And since we blocked off all the flight squares of the king, now we just need to play... remember, we got this rook guarding all these squares. All we need to do is put the queen to d7. Checkmate. Problem solved. And that wraps this up. Hopefully this helped you out. I am signing out. Thank you for watching.